Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel for another installment in our new figure showcase series, where we take a look at a recent addition that I'm adding into my collection, and I'm really excited for this one. If you've followed my channel for a little bit, you know that besides Marvel, one of my favorite lines is the Gangsters Kingdom series from Damtoys. To me, it really is an underrated gem, although I 100% know it's also not for everyone. But today, we're going to be taking a look at the latest release from the line, which is the Six of Hearts, Augustine, just released, as well as the additional accessory or add-on pack of the Hyena. So this is a very niche series. I would actually argue it's probably more limited in appeal than the Exo-6 Star Trek series. But I still appreciate that Damtoys is still releasing these figures, even though they do about 2 to 3 a year if we're lucky. As a quick refresher, this is an original Damtoys series where they've created a pretty interesting mythology around 4 crime families, all based around suits of cards. And what Damtoys does is they take a celebrity, athlete, or even a straight-up character from a movie or TV show, and then they create a stylized figure based around it and drop them into this fictional world, with a comic and a small thread of a story to get you thinking. So Augustine is the Six of Hearts and is supposed to be a take on Jason Momoa, which we'll get into during the look at the sculpt. But basic storyline, he and his brother are basically controlling the Hart family's drug trade in Mexico. Look, for the most part, these aren't good people, right? So one interesting note, actually, and I normally don't show this, but when they released Augustine, they also teased the Seven of Hearts. And in the comic that Damtoys is giving us, their artist, they're just kind of giving us a broad outline of what he looks like. And this is just a guess, but I think we're going to be getting a version of The Rock added into this story as a Seven of Hearts. I could be wrong, but I just feel like that's a very distinctive silhouette that they're showcasing here. Also, one other thing to note about Damtoys and their strategy with these, some of the early figures were always deluxe and included the animal, like, for example, the Wolverine figure or the Barkley, but lately they've been dividing up the sets. So besides the figure, you did have the option of buying the Hyena, which I did, and it is packaged separately, and also buying an alternate body. Now, they are doing the same thing with the John Wick figure, but this was a first, and I'm just showing a picture because I ended up passing on that body. But it is this full red, almost devil body with a red skull with horns. So in the story for the character, the comic that you're getting, this is basically how Augustine appears to a group of women who are under the influence. So there's no supernatural element being added into the world. It's literally just a drug-induced nightmare of sorts. And the character also collects skulls as trophies, which also plays a part. For me, while I think that alternate body looked really good and interesting, it just wouldn't fit in with the rest of the display, even as an alternate, so I passed on that body. But it was an interesting addition by Damtoys. Okay, so with all that out of the way, let's take a look at the package we got from them. And I'm including the accessories that came with the Hyena as well. And look, it's a decent set. Not as loaded as some others, but not bare bones by any means. And you get a nice array of weapons, 2 alternate hands, and nicely enough, you do get some extra wrist pegs. And then you get a muzzle and leash for the Hyena, plus the Hyena itself, which is a static piece, and you'll see as we get in, Damtoys really does give you nice things with these figures. So let's jump into the accessories for a more in-depth look, and we'll start with the hands. And both of these are alternate left hands with the same 666 tattoo, very much in line with the character's backstory. And look, while you don't get a slew of them like Hot Toys gives us sometimes, these are enough, especially to hold on to some of the accessories like the cigar and the tribal knife. And one thing I always like is that Damtoys gives you hands that go along with the stylized nature of the figure. So there's some exaggerated detailing, but it's still great work, and the paint apps for these are excellent. Okay, so now let's get into the weapons, and he actually comes with some nice pieces that I don't think I've really seen before, from Damtoys at least. Although, please feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. But the first is a nice double-barrel short shotgun, and if you're new to Damtoys, I will say this again. They excel at 6-scale weapons. This is nicely done with great detail on the handle and the underside of the barrels to create a faux wood look along with a nice grain. And the silver is also nicely done with some speckling and weathering, including some blood splatter on the ends of the barrel. So this has seen some gruesome action. Now the barrels do actually open on a hinge to reveal the inner workings, and even though I didn't show it, you can have some of the shells actually slide into the barrel, so that's awesome, and the gun will close with them. Also, when we discuss attention to detail, there is a lever on the top of the gun that actually unlocks the barrels and allows them to move on the hinge. It's a small but awesome detail. And to go along with this piece, you also get an ammo belt preloaded with a bunch of shotgun shells that can actually be removed. I'm not sure what the material is here. it might be leather. It does feel pretty good. It feels pretty solid, and it even includes a nice buckle detail that matches the figure's belt. And this is meant to go around Augustine's body, resting on his chest, so you'll see that on him in a bit. Next weapon, I'm honestly not familiar with, but it's an interesting submachine gun. So you do get 2 spare clips, although you don't really get anywhere to store them on the figure. And what you're seeing first is the folded up configuration with the metal stock pushed in and the housing for the magazine folded upwards. It's really interesting, but again, amazingly well detailed, including this wood guard on the handle and the nice metallic silver finish and weathering throughout. Now you can also obviously extend extend everything for use, so you can pull the stock out, which you have to do regardless to make sure the piece can be held in one of the hands, and you can fold down the magazine to get the weapon essentially ready for firing. Overall, just a really distinctive piece that stands out and gives the figure a little extra pop. And as an added detail, on the top of the piece you can actually see some stamped writing, so it goes without saying that these are incredibly detailed pieces that really stand out. Next weapon continues with that distinctiveness that figure has going for it, and it's sort of an axe-like knife. So given Jason Momoa's background, I think Damtoys opted to go with something almost tribal, and that knife looks nasty and like it could do some major damage. And again, it's something I haven't seen them do before. So besides the shape and the great paint detailing to show the really sharp edge and the grooves on the blade's body, you also get some blood splatter here too, which is very much in line with the style of the Gangsters Kingdom line. And then the blade is also attached to a real metal chain that has a functioning clip at the end to connect it to the figure's pants. And there is a small Velcro knife holder that attaches to the belt to hold the blade on the figure's body. That holster of sorts is super simple, but also has that nice Damtoys detail work with small skulls on the surface. So really impressive looking piece. Now next up, you get some accessories for him to wear, and as with most of the Gangsters Kingdom figures, you do get some sunglasses. On the plus side, while I think these are definitely reused molds, I don't think they've used these as often as some of the other shades, and they look great with the red lenses. You also get a pair of alternate boots, nice to have, but not sure if I'd use them, especially once you see the base ones that come with the figure. And then you get a scarf that is really already preset for you and is made of a very thin material, so it should drape nicely on your figure. Now, it's not a piece I'm going to be using, and you'll see why when we get into the figure, but while it looks great, it covers up some of the nice detail work on the body, and I think that's kind of a shame. So clearly a lot of variability here to customize your figure. Now, the last accessory that came with the figure is the cigar, and I always love these pieces because they add a little dynamic flair right to the piece. But this one is also pretty unique in terms of the smoke effect. Usually you just get a nice white with gray. Here this one is green with red. Very unique and visually has a nice pop to it. And it's also a big effect, standing out much more than previous similar pieces. So I like that distinctiveness. Alright, now we're moving into the accessories that come with the Hyena. And you get a muzzle that actually has a lot of detailing work with belt buckles for the bottom and the tie meant to go around the animal's head. It looks incredible, but it is a little tedious to get on since you have to undo the straps and then reconnect them and slide them through very small buckles and the like. But no denying it adds a sense of realism. And you also get a leash that has some nice leather-like details at the two ends and is connected together by a nice real metal chain. I really can't say enough now about how much I love the use of mixed media with these pieces and these accessories. Alright, so now let's look at the Hyena. This is something that I really love with this line, and that's the use of animals to give each figure a little more personality. The dogs are always amazing and stylized to match the overall look of the figure, but to date we've basically just gotten dogs. We did get a snake with Vera, a cat with Angelo, and now we're getting a hyena with Augustine. So first of all, amazing. Even though it is a static piece, the paint apps on the body giving you that distinctive hyena look are outstanding. And then the sculpt work, the face is great, but even the layering of the fur, the tufts along the neck, all the way down to the tail, it's a nice addition. And then going back to that face sculpt, again stylized, although this isn't as cartoonish as some of the previous releases, but it still looks great. Eyes are amazing. They're painted in such a really great polished way that it's similar to the figures, making it look real. And then the ears are nice and oversized. And the teeth, I love the paintwork here, showing the dirty teeth. So I'm really happy with this, and I think it's a great companion to the figure. So speaking of Augustine, let's take a look at the sculpt. And again, these are stylized, so they're not meant to be exact replicas of the actors, but this is actually pretty decent. And one thing I've noticed with the line as it's progressed, the sculpts have actually gotten less and less cartoonish. Earlier ones had some really out there features, be it a super enlarged chin or heavy brows, but here you're getting something that's closer to real than not. And look at the paintwork, just incredible, as well as the detailing on the facial hair. You can see some great work on the sculpt, including the braided part of the beard with the hair ties. That's all pretty amazing. The hair has to be really a positive because it's nice and slicked back, but still detailed with the strands. And then look at the detail at the eyes and the face, just top notch. Damtoys kills it with these, and I had to show you the back of the head as well, just to show the awesome detail in the hair tie in the back. Again, overall, just an amazing sculpt that really continues to impress. As for the figure itself, nothing crazy on the attire. You get a nice loose fitting jacket that is like a more weathered leather. It's not pleather, so that's a huge plus, but it looks great with the black and dark brown. Then he has ripped weathered gray tank top, and you have very styled up pants with weathering and patchwork, and he even has a great belt that does come preset with a holster for the shotgun with some additional shells. Tailoring for this line continues to be among the best I've seen, and there feels like a lot of attention is taken in putting these together. And even the boots, they're an almost alligator pattern with metal skulls acting as toe guards, so really encapsulates the look that they were going for with the figure. And again, fully loaded, how can you not like this piece? I'm showing him here without a jacket, and first of all, the tattoo work here is always impressive. Arms are single jointed, which I tend to hate, but I get it, right? Because it makes the figure look better from an aesthetic point of view. And with the shotgun in the holster and the knife in its holder, this guy has a lot of presence. And a part of me doesn't know if I want to use the jacket with him because it covers up so much detail. And listen, you can see why I don't want to use the scarf as well, because he has that awesome tattoo on the chest that you'd want to showcase. Plus, I have to be honest, you can already see that the jacket stained the body a little bit, so it might not be a bad idea to just show him with the tank top. And the hyena really stands out. With the great sculpt he comes with too, I don't know that I want to use the muzzle to hide it. To hide him. I have him with it on in one of the shots, but I really don't think I'll be using it on, or the leash for that matter. But it is an awesome companion piece again to Augustine. Only slight negative, he is a taller figure, so Damtoys just use elongated pegs for his ankles. Just need to be careful during posing to avoid him toppling over. But mine actually has pretty sturdy pegs, so he seems to be holding pose as well. So just something to keep an eye on, but overall, a stunning piece. This to me continues to be a highlight series, and I love that Damtoys is stuck with it and is still progressing. Tailoring and fit are always fantastic, and the detail work on the weapons always stands out. So this is to me another great addition to the line, and I can't wait to see what else they come up with beyond the John Wick and that Neil that are up for pre-order now. But easily continues to be one of my favorite overall lines. So that was a quick look at Augustine, the Six of Hearts from Damtoys' ongoing Gangsters Kingdom line. Needless to say, I love it and think the final product turned out remarkably well. Definitely a solid addition to the line. Let me know your thoughts, and as always, thanks for watching, and if you are enjoying the content, please consider dropping a like, comment, or subscribing, and we'll touch base on the next video.